And so one of my skill sets that I've used is the Dallas Morning News said that we use Snark and Sass
Oh,
to catch
yes.
bad guys, right? So
Yeah.
those are my two. Those are my words, Snark
Snark
and
and
Sass.
Sass.
And so I thought, you know what? All these other people keep one upping each other in terms of these productions, and every single song is being used. And I thought I'll be snarky, especially because at that point I'd been ordered to make one of these, even though I was like, ooh, why are we? Why? And long story short, we did one, and the rug pull was that I cut the audio of the actual song halfway through to where the officers were using their real terrible singing voices,
Oh,
right? And that was
okay.
it. And I remember at the time, the last I saw it, I think it was at like 4 million views, maybe.
Yeah.
But it was that one
At that
one did
time.
well, right? But the most insane stuff goes by. You just never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think to this date, our most viewed video, it was a student shot it of one of our SRO officers with a possum. God, what was it? A possum? It was a possum on a leash, um, checking lockers, right?
Hi, welcome to Say More Words, a podcast that was created to emphasize the human experience through stories. I hope that you come here to learn, to expand, and most importantly, learn how to say more words. Speak your story, speak your truth, boo boo. We're so happy you're here.
Hi. Welcome back to Say More Words. I'm sorry for how potentially unhinged this is about to get.
It's not.
This
Why would that
is,
be? Why would you
this-
open on a negative?
this
Like
is-
an 0-2 count? Why? That's so rude.
This is my friend Brad.
It is a guest, right?
He is a guest. Oh, shit.
Unhinged.
He
Imagine that.
is. This is my friend Brad. We bicker like a married couple, so Godspeed to this fucking episode.
Are we let
Brad?
we cuss?
Oh yeah. Oh, as someone who said he's listened to the podcast, you're confused that I cuss?
I do. I thought I must have listened to the G-rated versions where it's bleeped.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we get into like him introducing himself, Brad, what is the song of the day?
The song of the day is "Dance Monkey."
Okay.
By Tones and I.
Tones and I.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's my kid's favorite. Is that your kid's favorite?
I use it as it's my Fortnite theme dance. So clearly things are going well for me. But no, I'm one of the sad sacks that the first time I heard this song was on Fortnite, like for my kids.
Sure.
And this line resonated with me. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life, and I just imagined like I'm doing this for everyone else, right? I constantly am. Everybody says do this, and it's like, here I go. And so anyway, I don't know. I liked it, and so that's my dance before each match. Yeah.
So Brad's obviously very popular,
especially with women.
He has a very high Fortnite score.
Yes.
Really big in Pokemon Go, and he's doing
a lot of the
right.
Yeah, I do know the touch of a woman. I promise. Like it is.
He does have two children.
I do. Yes.
So
yes.
At least twice.
I've made it. Yes. So. Jesus.
Okay, Bradley. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Brad Uptmore, as you know. I am 44 years old. I have 2 children. We don't have to go into the specifics of it, but I have 2 children, 15 and 11, and I have them full nonstop custody. I am a police officer, and I have been for 19 and a half years. And I live in Denton County, and if you put those pieces together, obviously we went through an ordeal to where a male police officer in a liberal Denton County would get full custody of his kiddos. And so that has been a 6-year process that seems like it's over now. I grew up in a small town called West Texas, where everybody always says kolaches. I worked at the check stop for 6 years.
Really?
Oh, you didn't know this?
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, like everything was 50% off, and so I was gordito. I think part of my success stems from that. I was a chunky kid growing up. I was a big boy, and I was obviously mocked. It was the 80s and 90s, and tormented and whatever. And so one skill set that I learned was that, hey, no women will ever find me attractive. I'm not like I'm always going to be the best friend in the rom-com, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm the funny, hefty guy, and so I accepted it instead of fight it. So I was friends with the prettiest girls. I mean, we'd all do homework. I would say, yeah, there you go. We would work together on projects. I lost the intimidation of being around really pretty women, and it was because I just accepted. I always wanted to be a dad, and I was like, I'll just never be. I'm not going to be a dad. Like this is the way it is. And so I ended up going to Baylor University, and I had a film, TV, and public relations major minor. And then my sophomore year, I don't know if you remember a magical pill called Xenadrine, which was a weight loss thing. And I worked at a GNC where we sold Xenadrine, and it had ephedra in it, right?
Yeah.
And ephedra killed some people, but it was fine because I said it's
I'm
at
gonna
this
get
point
skinny.
it doesn't matter. And so my sophomore year of college, all of a sudden, I grew from about 5'11" to 6'6", and I lost 70 pounds on ephedra. And all of a sudden, the pretty girls' minds changed about what they wanted from me, and it was like, oh my god, am I a like? And look, I'm not. I do not think I'm a whatever it is. But all of a sudden, I felt like I had these power.
You had
what has
powers.
happened? Like this is
You've
insane.
leveled up.
Yeah, I've leveled up, right? And so that was kind of nice. And so yeah, there you go. And then after I always give my origin story that, and I'll sum it up. I had a girlfriend towards the end of college, and I ended up moving to Chicago for her because that's where her and her family were from. And I took a job in mortgage, which my first year out of college I was making $150,000 a year. It was subprime mortgages, and if you're following the timeline, you'll see that this was us leading into the recession for companies like the one I was working. Right?
It's not a good time.
So I knew something was kind of up. This was strange. I mean, I didn't even know what a mortgage was initially, but I told the boss, I was like, I don't know what that is, but I can sell it. Like, I'll talk to anybody you put me in front of. And so the company was called New Century Mortgage. And if you've ever seen I think it's the Academy Award, the movie The Big Short, the only company they mention about the downfall of the mortgage recession crisis was New Century Mortgage.
Oh,
so yeah, so
good.
I say
Good.
I had a job that I hated, that I made tons of money, and then I moved back here and I worked at a Barnes and Noble, and I had a job that I loved, that I made no money, and I was like, I have to find something kind of in between. And that's when I ended up getting fired. The only time I've gotten fired to date, and from Barnes and Noble, because I sound like a hipster when I say it, but I was writing blogs before they were kind of a thing. Remember Zynga?
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah.
So like I was writing a blog about how weird working at Barnes and Noble was, and this was before iPhones and all that stuff. And so I would write this narrative about the love stories that happened, the weirdos that came in and would just read books and leave, and the thefts and whatever. So and so I got fired from that. And when I came home, there was an ad for the Dallas Police Department, and I was like, you know what, that's right in between. And my favorite TV show at the time was 24 with Jack Bauer. Bauer. And I was like, I would like to do that one day. And this is the best shape I've ever been in. So I'll give that a shot. So yeah, and then I worked there 10 years in one day. We got a $3,000 retention bonus at 10 years. So I made sure that cleared that check.
Yeah.
And then I jumped to another department, and yeah.
Been doing that.
I've been doing that.
Brad and I met during, not the recession, I almost said, during COVID.
Okay.
I think is when we became friends.
Yes.
Because you were posting ridiculously funny shit, and I was posting ridiculously funny things. And then people were like, you two need to know each other. And I think that's how we became friends on Facebook.
Yes.
And then we were the, like, there was a meme that came out shortly after. It's like, nobody supports you quite like your friends on Facebook that you've never met in real life. And I had posted it, and he had commented. And then, so we live in DFW, which is a very big place, but we live in the small towns of DFW and the affluent small towns of DFW. And so, like, we know all of the same people. And so I had posted that, and you're like, yeah, I can't believe we've never met. And everyone was like, how have you two, like, you guys are best friends. How have you never met?
Me. Local. No, you have a following, right? Like, especially now, like all these years later. No, I mean, you knew everyone in town.
Yeah. And they all knew. And so they they were shocked that the two of us had never met. And then at a very awkward point in our lives, we met at the South Lake Chamber for the first time in person. The South Lake Chamber, what was it? Award ceremony. The one I got peed on with the alligator.
Not me. Not me. Okay. Yes. 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 Okay.
The alligator.
The alligator. Okay. Got it.
And everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's happening." I mean, we've been friends.
That was the first time?
That was the first time we met in person. That was a couple years after.
I thought it was, I emceed an event on the Hill, the thing for Meals on Wheels one time.
That was after we knew each other.
Okay. That was after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or had met in person.
Okay.
And so, but all that's to say, Brad is a local celebrity too. He acts like it's me, but like, I mean, sure, but also everybody knows Brad. Partially because he's so freaking funny. He has won many, many awards for videos that he's made just with his iPhone. Because he just takes a concept and he's like, "Do you think this is funny?" And then all of us die laughing. So Brad had a viral, actually how I had learned about him is he had a viral post about a construction cone that got ran over at a school.
Yes.
And it went viral because a bunch of departments and things from across the country were like creating funerals for this. Now it's years later. So my question for you, long story, ramble, whatever. How did you go from working in the Dallas PD to then bringing full circle your broadcasting and journalism and film degree? Like, how did you get to this point where you're filming things and winning awards all over the country?
I think whenever I was at the Dallas Police Department, obviously that's where you see the real world, right? Like, I mean, you're working 11 at night to 7 in the morning. It's the side of the world that where we are here, they only hear about on murder shows and stuff, right? Right. SVU and stuff. But it was very sobering, and we were prepared in the academy and stuff for don't change who you are. Like, and we had heard about the depression and the suicide and the anxiety and all these things that can come with a job like this. And I had seen so many people who began to hate everyone, right?
Yeah.
And or God forbid become racist, misogynistic, sexist against certain groups of people. And I'm not saying I'm just saying in the policing world in general, that can happen whenever it's just this grueling thing where your complainant lies to you, your victim lies to you, your suspect, everybody lies. When you clock in, from the moment that you go on your first call or traffic stop, everyone's lying to you. I mean, whether it's I didn't stab her or it's I wasn't speeding, right? Every single thing is a lie.
Yeah.
And that can wear on you. And I think I made the conscious decision that I'm going to treat this, and this sounds so nerd, but I'm going to treat this as almost like I'm a little superhero. I'm not going to, when I leave here, the door is shut. I'm leaving my uniform at work. I'm not going to listen to my radio when I'm at home. I don't care anything else. Don't call me, right?
I'm
not on the clock. I'm not here. And then when I go in, I'm going to go be the superhero. I'm going to do what needs to be done. I'm going to take care of my business, and then I'm going to shut it down. And I'm going to retain that humanity, I guess. And me and a couple of guys kind of realized that, okay, this is a good way to go. And I think it helped with our communication. It helped with our, we've all been in these precarious situations where, if one thing went wrong, we'd be dead, shot, hurt, whatever. But that's what I really focused on. And it was like trying to not sink into drinking too much or doing bad things to compensate for the stress of all this stuff. But I think I kept that part with me. And I always wanted to be a filmmaker. I applied for USC whenever I was in high school, which is the filmmaking school, of course, where George Lucas went. And I did it. I was late on it. It was my fault, and I didn't get the scholarship there. And so Baylor was my backup, and I had a scholarship there. And but even with that film degree at Baylor, my dad kept thinking that I could just bring a resume into Steven Spielberg and be like, "Hey, here I am. It's let's go. Let me direct this thing.
Pay me."
And I was right. And I was just I was still too much of a realist that would not happen. I recognized that I would be a waiter for 5, 10, 15 years, living in an apartment with 3 or 4 other people, and I was too much of a realist for that. And so that part of me never died. And during my time, I would release my stress by either writing short stories or writing novels or writing or creating art. I would just always try to find some outlet. And then, of course, once I had a child, that was my outlet. Like whether that's unfair, I wouldn't say that I put the burden on him, but for me, he meant more to me than he probably knew,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, now I've got something that I really have to retain this humanity for. So
Mm-hmm. So would you say that you've always naturally I personally think that you are just a naturally funny person. The stuff that comes out of your face is funny, but do you have to try, or is it just like that's how your brain works?
no, I mean, I think I'm at a different angle of it, right? Like the older I become too, I become more of an introvert.
Okay.
We've discussed this
Mm-hmm.
because you call BS on that all the time, or other people call BS, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. And so I think I've just had a lot of life experience and things that I just think are hilarious. And police work is absolutely hilarious,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's so much that goes on you just don't get. No, I think that it's a weird world, it's a weird climate, and dancing around what's funny and what's not, and not offending. I've trained my brain at least to think of every possible. I always call it. If I'm going to make a post or a funny video, I in my head describe it as a river, and I have to imagine all the tributaries where it can go wrong. Right? Is
Mm-hmm.
this possibly offensive? Is this how on earth? And one example is that we did a once the political climate and everything changed, a while back, people were mad about everything. And if you said one thing wrong, immediately 50% of my audience could be offended or mad. And so I was like, well, what is something, harping on Disney, what is something that everybody loves? Well, everybody loves Disney, right? So especially during COVID, during the pandemic, I did a bunch of my work for uh, the agency was Disney, either Disney related or something.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this is happy, right? Like I dug deep to find out what is, the Beatles. Who can argue about the Beatles unless they love the Monkees, right? Like,
Yep.
let's at least give me a 90% chance versus that 50. So, but we did an Aladdin spoof, and it was educating the public on how to do a U-turn
Oh
with
yeah.
actual information, right?
Yeah.
And so I found on Etsy Aladdin's hat. I found the Jasmine, the necklace. I found it all. I got everything recorded, and I filmed it, and I showed it. I normally show stuff to 5 to 10 people before I post it, just to get their thoughts. And one of those 10, and they're all usually from different walks of life. Again, skills that I've had to learn as I've gone through this, because when I haven't done that, I might have I
Offended some
might have
people.
offended somebody, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and one person of this 10 said, "Ooh, I think that Aladdin hat might be negative towards Arabic or Muslim people." And I
Okay.
said, "Oh my God, I literally, as a white man, I literally had no clue. And you
Yeah.
know what? I need to investigate that." And so then I went to, there were places in town where different communities gathered, and I'd known a few people from each one, and I went and showed them, and I said, "Is there anything offensive? And also, could this be portrayed like this?" I asked, I think, 8 to 9 people, and all of them that were like almost laughed that no, it couldn't. But it was good that we had even gone down that path, and that I'm so CYA that there's no way. I mean, that would have
Yeah.
killed the whole thing, right? I mean, yes, we could have refilmed it, but the hat was so important because it had a feather on it. And while these guys are lip syncing, I'm holding a leaf blower to make it blow, right? Because they're on a carpet in
Yeah.
front of a green screen, but I'm like, while they're doing it.
Uh-huh.
So, but that really it was another lesson learned of, okay, hey, you can do your funny, you can do your cheeky, but make sure that that's where we're at, because whenever you are representing a government agency at that time, you're not representing me as a person.
Yep.
I'm representing this agency, and
Right.
so therefore I have to protect their image just
Yeah.
as I would protect mine.
And so how many of your videos have gone viral?
Video wise, maybe only 5 or 6.
Okay.
Posts have done more. I
Okay.
I think the first year you described the cone, but the first year, which would have been in 2018, I think that year alone, I had 5 viral posts, and I consider viral whenever it has 1 million impressions or more,
Yeah.
right? And that year, we started with an audience of 9,000. And to put it in perspective, now there's an audience of coming up on 180,000.
Yeah.
And so obviously views build, right?
Yeah.
But somehow I caught that lightning in a bottle on so many things that first year. And so I think that first year, the only video that went viral that year was the lip sync challenge one that we did.
Mm-hmm.
The whole country was doing, it was like a police and fire. Everybody was doing this lip sync thing, and one of my core things is that, and I'm sure I heard it somewhere, but I say it forever now. I prefer innovation over imitation,
Mm-hmm.
and so once somebody else is doing it, I lose all interest. Right? I try not to follow these other pages. I don't want to know what they've done because I don't want to accidentally be accused
of copying
that I've plagiarized somehow. Like I'll plagiarize myself until the end of time, but I'm not going to do that. And so the lip sync we had planned was not going to work. It got cut an hour before. We were going to do Beyonce's All the Single Ladies. Still know I still know it.
You're a good time at weddings.
I mean, and I had the studio rented. I had the other officers in it. One barrel-chested big guy, one a bald smaller guy, and me. And we were told that would be too sexy, which I said, on the contrary, I haven't seen anything less sexy than these 3 men in a group dancing to this. Right?
Yeah.
Just ugh. So anyway, it got cut an hour before, and I was kind of I was obviously bummed out because I one of my other things that drives me nuts is if I involve, and you know this because you've been in a bunch of our stuff, if I involve other people, I'm in constant panic and fear that I'm going to waste your time and that I am going to I'm gonna bother you, right?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Like I get there and I turn into this different person where it's like we have to do this just right, and I'm gonna be real strict, whatever, for a few minutes. And I'm sorry, it's nothing personal. It's just let's get this done so you can go live your life.
Yeah.
Right? You took time out of your day
get really
to
manic,
give me
and
this,
I hate it.
and I sweat like it's awful. It's gross.
Yeah.
So I had involved a lot of people with this, and this was my first year doing it, and I was just so bummed out. And so one of my skill sets that I've used is the Dallas Morning News said that we use Snark and Sass to catch bad guys, right? So those are my two. Those are my words, Snark and Sass. And so I thought, you know what? All these other people keep one-upping each other in terms of these productions, and every single song is being used. And I thought I'll be snarky. Especially because I was at that point I'd been ordered to make one of these, even though I was like, "Ooh, why are we? Why?" And long story short, we did one, and the rug pull was that I cut the audio of the actual song halfway through to where the officers were using their real terrible singing voices, right? And that was it. And I remember at the time, the last I saw it, I think it was at like 4 million views, maybe. But it was that one did well, right? But the most insane stuff goes by. You just never know. I mean, I think to this date, our most viewed video, it was a student shot it of one of our SRO officers with a possum. God, what was it? A possum? It was a possum on a leash, checking lockers, right? And so the call to action that I wrote was, "Hey, our canine can't work today at the school, so we got the possum." And 7-8 million views. Possum magazines started reaching out to us to cover it. Like the most insane thing. And anytime I would go to my boss and request something new, he'd be like, for a video, like whenever I would try to get my permission to do the next step, he would be, "Can we finally beat the possum?" Right? So I'm sitting here saying, "Hey, I've got this big production. I know how it's going to look. It's going to look cinematic. Like I'm going to do this, the lighting, the lens flare. I got all this stuff. Can I beat the possum?" That some 13-year-old girl shot of one of our officers. So, but video wise, I mean, like this year alone, we're not even halfway through the year, and we already hit one out of the park. And I think this year,
I was in it.
She was. I think we're at 5 or 6 million this year already, which is the best start we've had. But yeah, a lot of it has been all about learning how to communicate with the audience. And in the beginning, when I first started, I would post 5 to 6 times a day. The shotgun effect. What lands? What do people comment on? Where are you from? Who is this person? Whatever. And then as has gone by, now I may post only 3 times a week, but they're sniper shots.
Yeah.
Right. I
You're
know
really good at
exactly
it.
what they are. And so, and that continues to build. And over time, I've stopped worrying about what goes viral, what goes,
Yeah.
it can't, like, it makes me happy. But to be fair, I'm in a profession where it's not like if I get a viral video, the boss calls me in the office. He's like, "Hey, these numbers look great. Like, we got a little bonus for you," right? It's nothing like
No.
that. So I've kind of accepted that, and it's like I just want to do my best work because it makes me feel good inside whenever I've done it right.
Yeah. So what a lot of people don't know about Brad, because like we know, especially here in DFW, we know his work, and we know the words that come out, and they are him. We know his tone and his inflection and the things that he says. But what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of his videos that have gone viral, that he's won awards for, are all just shot on an iPhone.
Yeah, no, it's
Very basic equipment. What's really cool about that is that there are places that have all these gigantic production teams. They do this, and you may, like, if you're listening to this, you're like, how is this relevant to me? You may be a business owner who's trying to figure out their socials and trying to do this. And my best friend just texted me, and he's like, I'm trying to do TikTok videos to make people buy my services or whatever. Like, you may think that you need XYZ to be successful, and you don't. You really just need, like,
no,
you just
it's the
need an
idea.
iPhone.
It's the idea in the story. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. A story propels all. Um, and I used to have a real nice professional camera, and it was the bulky kind. And it's like, okay, you go to an event and you take your pictures, and that's fine if you're into photography and stuff like that. But for government work or for smaller businesses, if something happens in front of you that's only going to happen once, you got a few seconds to grab it, right?
Mm-hmm.
In another cool thing, about me as a cool dude. My kids have a lizard and a frog in this terrarium in my house, and they always love watching me feed it crickets. Again, I'm at the point in life that every Tuesday, because I know the cricket schedule.
Yeah.
Again, I do know the touch of woman. Every Tuesday, I go into a PetSmart, and they look at me and they go, "Hey, 20 large crickets." Again, just I'm in a hellscape of some sort. And I'm like, "Yep, that's me." And then I buy them and I run out as fast as I can, hoping that nobody sees me. But anyway, yesterday was feeding day because it was a Tuesday, but the kids love watching them, devour these bugs. Sorry, PETA, but it's the circle of life.
Circle of life.
So I put them in the thing, and all of a sudden the frog jumps out of nowhere, and I, as quick as a whip, pull out my phone. With one swipe, I've got the video up, and I'm filming it so that I can send it, because my kids are at their grandparents right now, and so I can film it and send it to them just like that. And if you're in a dynamic profession, or you have a business like that, those 3 or 4 seconds, that can be the video. And so I learned that pretty quick, and especially as the iPhone has, with the lenses, with all of the auto. When I was in college, everything on my film stuff that I used to do, I would win on things with humor and with story, and I'd always get dinged for sound and lighting, because those are not that's not my forte. Like, I've really honed in that, hey, I'm a creative, and that's where I shine. And with that iPhone, the fact that it white balances, it changes like, it's been a game changer for me. And so, yeah, I mean, when other departments come and they're like, who do you hire to film these, and what kind of professional crew, like, how much is your crew a day? And I'm like, it's an up-to-date iPhone, a gimbal, which pretty soon that'll be phased out, because the action mode on the camera, again, now it steadies it.
Yep.
Microphones, and then I edit Final Cut Pro, and that's it. I mean, it is those 3 or 4 tools, and then if you have a green wall or a green screen, you can make
You're
anything
done.
in the world. Whereas when I was in college, I suggest the idea of doing some green screen there, like, oh my God, you that'll plan for that for your thesis, because that'll never happen. Like, it's so much work.
Yeah.
And now it's hitting
Click.
a button, right?
Huh. That's wild. So kind of circle it back, full circle, what I was talking about before. Like, we met during the pandemic because we were both posting funny things, and I think that's one of the things I appreciate about you, is that you do post the funny stuff. Like, and that's especially right now, like everyone is at arms about everything. Like everyone's coming after each other's throats. And that's the hard part about social media and media in itself, because everyone's just going after each other. And I think that's one of the best things that I've learned from you, is to keep going with the humor, because that's what attracts, you attract more whatever bees,
So you flies
flies
with
with
honey
honey
than
than
vinegar.
shit
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Vinegar is what we say
Vinegar.
in the kind world.
In the kind
Yeah.
world. But truly, like, getting back to that space where you can be yourself and you can be funny and you make fun of yourself all the time, which is
Sure, but
yeah.
conversely, and
Yeah.
which maybe you've seen, I think that once you've grown to a certain point too, you start to maybe, again, I'm not speaking for you,
Yeah, of course.
you feel a little heavy too, that if you have this voice, why are you not speaking up for other things or people who need you, and to do that stuff? And there's a risk there, right?
There
There's
is.
always going to be a risk because um, if someone is suffering or someone is unfairly being punished, do you say something or do you be quiet, right?
Right.
And whenever you have an audience like you or I have, it's all of a sudden there's consequences to that, right?
Right.
I mean, one of the stories that I always remember, like, Pat Sajak had the dream job. That's all he had to do. He sat there, called letters and talked small talk, whatever, making all this money. One of those famous guys, and then decides to start being vocal about politics and on one side, and it didn't matter what side.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, nope, time to retire." And
You're done.
and I remember I'm a big Howard Stern listener. For whatever you think of him, it's he's a great interviewer. He's
Yeah.
everything. And he was like, "What a fool! Like all you had to do was sit there and go out and dance, monkey, right? Just go out there and get those letters, order Vanna around, say hello. What do you do?
Yeah.
And that's it. And keep collecting your check. Like you've got a once in a lifetime gig."
Yeah.
And I think the question is, are the gigs that we have now once in a lifetime, or is there stuff beyond, right?
Yeah.
Like at a certain point.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the things I tell people, because if you look at my socials, you can't really tell what side I'm on purpose. Like I don't want that aspect to exist. But one of the things that I think I take great pride in, and you can choose to think of it this way or not, like when everyone in the world is having an opinion and shouting from the rooftops and attacking people, sometimes people do need the space to go where they know they're going to laugh or they're going to have some sort of
sure,
relief.
sure,
And so and I only say that because there are people like us who are like, I feel very deeply and can advocate on my own, like, or I can advocate towards the things that I believe in on my own accord, but there's certain spaces that are sacred
sure,
for people.
sure.
And that, like, your page was one of them. There's multiple pages that I would follow, especially during the pandemic, because shit was hard. And
Yeah,
like
no, it was.
I didn't go to social media to like listen to everybody bitch. I went to
Yeah,
laugh
you
and
are no
dance.
fair. Yeah,
Dance monkey
is
dance.
this the end of the world?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there were moments where is this
What's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Those memes are still kind of my favorite though, when they pop up on my time hop.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
They're so good. Okay, well, what else do you want the world to know about you? Because we've only known you behind the persona of the establishment in which you worked in.
Yes.
So what do you want us to know about you?
God, I don't know. You know what? We'll pull that. Earlier, you said that you were going to be the super positive, and then I was super negative, which is fine. That's a thing. But you told me to stop talking whenever I brought it up. I literally in my second half of life, um, like my midlife crisis, I think was, hey, I don't want my second half of life to be as much of a struggle or as bad as that first half. Right. So
First half,
I'm going to
yeah.
make some changes.
Yeah.
And one of those was to try to be more glass half full. And I'm raising two young boys.
Yeah.
And so I try. Like sometimes it feels like I'm with just my career path and all that I've seen and all the stuff that keeps you awake at night. It still feels like a mask sometimes of like this. But I think what I know is not a persona anymore is, and again, I'm going to go back to a Howard Stern thing. A Howard Stern, he one of his drops, that they play over and over. A long time ago, when Ringo Starr was getting fan mail Do you know?
Yeah.
You know all about that? Okay.
Yeah.
So he wanted to stop getting fan mail, and so he recorded this cringeworthy video. And at the end of it, he says, quit sending me stuff. It will not be signed. It will be tossed. I say this with peace and love. Peace and love. And so peace and love is one of these drops. And so from now on, it's kind of a way to not say bless her heart,
Bless her.
right? Bless her
Oh,
heart
yeah.
or whatever. Like
Peace and love.
I'll sit there, and if I feel myself going a little negative, or if I feel myself entering a challenge in a conversation, I'll say, listen, I'm just going to say this with peace and love. Peace and love. And that helps a little bit too, right? It helps add, and nobody knows that it's Ringo Starr saying it or whatnot, but it is. And I think one of the things on the page that I consciously chose to do back when I started is that everything will be done with kindness and love. So it kind of comes into that circle.
Yeah.
And I'm whenever I was a cop in Dallas, I remember my partner, who was the closest thing I've ever had to a brother. We rode together for 4 years in Northwest Dallas. And my at that point in time, my divorce was impending. Right, it was on the horizon. It was gonna happen. And one of the things, in one of our little deep conversations we had in between naps, because we worked
Right.
8 and 9 to 5 in the morning, is that he was like, you just have to always be the white knight. Like you have a child. You're raising somebody that a boy, like you're hoping to raise into a good man. And any decision you make, especially here, don't think about cheating on her. Don't think about slandering her. Don't think about any of this stuff. What you need to think is be the white knight here. And you need to be able to always challenge. If somebody ever says something about you, challenge with, pay for the lie detector and let's go do it, because I'm going to make the choice that is best for my kids or for me in this path.
Yeah.
And so I don't always, sometimes I do have imposter syndrome on everything I do. Like, I mean, that is one of my, that and body dysmorphia are the things that ain't going away. But
taking them
yeah,
with me.
yeah, but it's still, through those, there are times that that little voice in your head is saying, hey, it's okay, lash out, or hey, hurt, how to hurt them. And for me, it's I've learned very well to repress that, and to just, I call it, we've talked before, I use two phrases about what my life has been in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I say I'm stuck in this thing of where I eat poop sandwiches.
Yeah.
Right. And there's so many times that I have to sit there and I just have to eat, or I say tucking, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I'm found myself at a poop sandwich buffet, but I have to eat them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it long term, it seems like everyone else always kind of gets out of these situations with smelling like roses. I don't think that life path was not before me.
Oh,
right. Like if I was, it would not go well. Right.
But also, like, I think one of the things when people continuously get put into, we could call oppressive things, right? Like things that are meant to break you and you continue to break through them. Most people don't realize that on the other side of that, there are good things. Now, granted, as being your friend, like the last few years, it feels like it has, like you're continuously getting hit. But with the horizon of now, because before, I will tell you, like before, you were not on the horizon of like it can be positive and this can be good and we can get, like you weren't, like the world was on fire and everyone was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But now that you're at this place, you've kind of figured out that you've come to this crossroads that, like, yes, you're experiencing challenge after challenge after challenge, but those challenges are pushing you to be a better person. They're pushing you to be a better dad, better, like, but you now see on the horizon something better is coming. Like the second half of your life doesn't have to be what the first half of your life was.
Right. It's and self-care has entered the chat, and
yes,
like one of the things I started doing, I do get obsessive about certain things, and so like I walk 4 miles a day. Like that's my only time away that I'm either not at work or not around my kids. And that's what I do. And I play my stupid Pokemon Go, like you said.
I didn't say stupid, but you said stupid. I said Pokemon Go.
But
I was
again,
very
it motivates
respectful.
me to walk. And so I have this path. And like last year, I was like, I'm going to do 2,400 miles. Well, I only did 2,300 miles. And so this year I added on a new little I keep doing it, and I don't feel, again, my obsessive nature on that. The day, like, I didn't do it this morning because I was coming here. Like, I sacrificed my thing for you, which is, peace and love.
Right.
Uh, but like
And
in
love.
in my head, it's still in the back of my head that, hey, boy, you better walk your 4 miles today.
At some point
Like, I
today.
haven't completed the Wordle today. Like, I'm on number 6 today, and I got a 116-day streak, and I'm like, oh, don't you like?
Don't mess
So
this
like
up.
already, I'm a little frenetic, and it's not
Yeah.
even noon, but it's okay. Like, it's still, things could be worse,
Peace
right?
and love. We're
Peace
done
and
now so
love.
that he can
Yeah,
go
it's
walk with.
no, it's okay. It's too hot. Now
It's
you got to
true.
wait till dark. So
Well, it's going to storm this afternoon. So
is it really?
it's supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit. And then it's supposed to cool down.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What else? What else you
I
got?
don't know.
Okay.
That's all I got. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. I think the main point of having my friend Brad here is because so many people only know him based off of the organization that he worked for and not for who you
Yeah, and
are.
I think one of the things that I always took pride in is that, and so I'm a, not to humble brag, I'm a guest lecturer at TCU
Oh my
2 to
god.
3 times
Oh
a
my
year.
god.
Just
Okay.
uh, it's like whenever I bring up that I was Baylor. Listen, you didn't, whenever you were talking about my accolades, you didn't mention my Baylor University 2003 Actor of the Year, right? Like, I love that, where it's
Don't you
like,
have an Emmy? Shut
yeah,
up.
but it's where you talk about like the stuff that happened when you're in high school. Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh
find it
yeah.
so cringe, and
It's
so
the
I
best.
love doing that too,
Yeah.
right? Like, and that's my other thing that brings me so much joy. I love discomfort, and I love awkwardness. Like, one of my favorite things to do, and I need this with this stupid TikTok world, which I hate. I need to start putting together. But one of my
Yes.
favorite things to do is whenever there's a time that somebody finishes speak, like if you're in a crowd or an audience, and you absolutely should not clap. And my favorite thing in the world is to do, like, we were at my son's Cub Scout thing recently, and they were talking about some random thing that had nothing to do with anything. And I was like, and then you slow it down, like you realize you shouldn't be clapping, and then you put it like this. And it's like I soak it in. Like, it's so uncomfortable. And like, my kids know I'm gonna do it, so they're uncomfortable. I'm like on What We Do in the Shadows. I'm like Colin Robinson. I'm like soaking in the cringe. And like, that's what, but I've been,
I'm powering
bro,
up.
and I recognize that I've been doing that for 20 years, and nobody ever, like, people, like my close friends know, but it's so beautiful. Like, I like that. I like that discomfort, and to me, that's where humor really comes from.
Oh my god.
Whenever you can have that, it's an emotion, right? Like,
Yes.
I've created an emotion.
It's that emotion, and the like with people who are like, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe you posted that. I can't believe I'm gonna post that meme today, and I can't
Oh.
wait. It's my favorite.
Well, and I think my children finally have acknowledged that I mean what I say. Right? That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And I've only done it because I make this argument, sometimes in some of my little talks, that really the last great emotion that we have as humans in this current world is shame. Right? Shame is really the last. Look, we can't, even the word that used to be the worst word in the entire world, it's thrown around. Nothing. It's just kind of like, oh, well, they said that word, or whatever. But I my kids came from the opposite of structure and security, I guess.
Yeah.
And where every day was,
Different.
every day was Disneyland, every day was whatever, where they could do whatever. And so, my oldest is, like I said, 15, so we're in that brooding, defiant kind of stage. But one of the things, a few years ago, he back talked me. We were at a birthday party at a bowling alley. And for my youngest, he was at his friend's birthday party, and my oldest and I tagged along because it was a bowling alley. It was like, okay, hey, look, and he like back talked me in front of a group of people. I said, if you do that again, I'm going to embarrass you, and I promise you, I'm going to do it. And I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person. That I believe that something is there are things that have happened and things that I've seen at work. That lead me to believe that something's out there. I don't subscribe to necessarily what it is. But we were standing there, and he saw some pretty girl or something, and so he started to put on that tough image. And then I just said something like, hey, whatever. And he snapped at me for something. And I looked at him like this, and I was like, what did you say? And he kind of was waiting to see what I would do. And I shit you not, Dance Monkey came over the speakers at that exact moment. And on Fortnite, there is a dance with Dance Monkey. And I looked at him and I said, "Everyone, I'm Landon's father, and I will be performing Dance Monkey." And I proceeded to do it as he shrank into the wall, right? And it was, and again, I don't, so my other superpower,
Yeah.
I don't feel shame anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
I am at the point where, in fact, what did I just say? Like, that is an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I don't feel as much. And so I did Dance Monkey on the floor. Again, here is a 44-year-old, moderately obese, slightly balding man doing this cringe dance in front of 11 to 15-year-olds as they watch in awe, not sure what's happening, as I've announced my son's name. And then after it was over, I said, "Do you believe that I will do what I say?"
Yeah.
And that was the moment. And there are times that we'll be driving to I'll be driving him to school. He's about to start driving, and he'll snap at something, or he'll say something, and I'll say, "Oh," I said, "I don't like that. Like, we're respectful. We're gentlemen." And I'll say, and he'll walk the line a little bit, and I'll be like, "It's not a big deal. Like, I know." Like, he goes to a prestigious school that all the daddies and mommies have the Range Rovers, everything. Well, your boy here drives a Chevy Bolt,
Whoop.
right? Whoop, that has $6,000 worth of hail damage on it that I put towards the principal versus paying for it to be repaired because it's a Chevy Bolt.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And somehow the hood is already damaged, and so he knows the threat is, if you backpump me pulling up to school, you're sacred ground. Like, or if you were so rude to me, like, I will strip down to whatever, and I will get on top of that car, and I will do what, it doesn't matter, right?
I will Jerry Maguire this
right.
in front of everybody.
It doesn't matter. I'll go into a full scene of whatever movie we've got to do. Like, it doesn't matter. Respect is one thing that we're just going to do, and the only way to hammer it hard with this generation, especially, that is just they're all over the place, and they can't hone their attention span.
Yeah.
It's that I need you to feel this emotion, and I'm gonna do it. I'm not. I will
And I won't
not.
think
This
twice
is
about
this
it.
is not a joke.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and again, it's, whether that sounds terrible or not, I'm not spanking.
No,
I'm not.
You're not
I'm
hitting your
not
kid.
right.
You're
No,
just
it's no.
embarrassing.
I'm right, and I will always announce, I am Brad Upmore, and I am Landon Upmore's dad. Right? It is like, let's go. He, like, and keep in mind, at this age range where he's a freshman going to be a sophomore, even the music I have in the car as we drive up could be too much.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, he'll turn it down. So he knows whenever I'm kind of at the last rung, right? Because the look in the eye comes with the smile, because I almost want it. Right?
I'm ready.
I'm like an animal that tastes blood. I'm like I give it to me, because I'll do it. Because somebody's going to record this.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
going to go viral.
Yeah. So but it will all come down to your choice. Right? It is your choice how you want me to respond to your disrespect. Because you will not do that with everything that your dad does for you, right? Every single aspect of my life, as a full-time dad with no child support, with all stuff, everything I do, every job I take, every moment that I have to sit at that computer when I want to be having fun, all of that is for my kiddos.
Yeah.
And so I just can't be disrespectful. Like, that's just the line.
Yeah.
So, and we'll do it with peace and love, right? Let's go.
Peace and love.
Yeah. Peace and love. Peace. Let's do it. It's so, talk about cringe. Like, just imagine. It will be toast. That's what he says it. Like,
peace and love.
Yes.
I'm gonna start saying that to people.
It's good.
Peace and love.
It's good. Yeah. You got to use the accent. It's that slight British accent.
I don't have that.
Peace and love.
I have to have more champagne in order to, like, a lot of champagne in order to have a even remotely semi-near British accent.
Okay. Yeah. It's simple.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, friends, this is my friend Brad.
Thank you.
He's funny.
You've had on doctors, you've had on lawyers, you've
Olympic
had on
athletes.
President, yeah. Athletes, yeah. And then there's Brad.
And what is that? What was the Steve? It was a
Is it Minecraft?
No, it was viral TikTok. It was it's just me and you and you and me and my friend Steve.
I don't know.
Steve.
Listen, here's the other thing. I'm not a big TikToker right yet. Like that's where that no, it's
I know
okay.
we've talked about that.
Yeah, we have. It's a
big fight we have.
It's a well, I understand the mediums change.
Yeah.
But just like I've always said,
just like when Vine left, did Vine hurt you?
No, I was never. No,
never
listen. Remember, I went to film. Listen, maybe we didn't hear.
I went to film school.
I was Baylor University's 2003 Actor of the Year. I shoot as a story, right? So I love. There are TikToks that I think are brilliant, and I love. I just I haven't gotten into that. I mean, I have. I've started on my personal stuff, kind of experimenting to learn more about it.
Yeah.
But I like stuff that has more of a story, that has a plot, that has cohesion. And that's not that, right? Like I know we're in the 3 second, 6 second, 10 second. Whatever. You have to watch this. And I'm against the, and the AI is something else I won't touch.
That's
right?
Fair.
Like I spent 8 years teaching the public that police officers and firefighters are human beings, and I think it would be a disservice to go back and be like, oh, hey, a robot wrote this, right? Like my whole mission has been humanize the badge and provide transparency, and I'd feel like a fraud if I was like, right.
I love AI to a point. I call mine Chat Daddy, though. We have a really strong relationship. It's a lot to unpack there. Okay,
I love you, Tamika.
Yeah, listen, he tells me I'm awesome.
You've done so well. Brad, your friend Brad was the best interview ever.
Brad. Yeah. But listen, in all seriousness, my friend Brad, I've been in some of those multi-million viral posts. So
And
a couple of them actually.
Listen, you've always done amazing. You've always done amazing.
Thank you.
But what word did you mispronounce?
Oh my God, what was it?
In the Wes Anderson spoof.
What was it?
I don't
know, but it was
perfect. I just remember somebody, like I didn't catch it. Somebody came up and they were like, does your friend Tamika not know what this word is? And I was like, wait, what
was it?
It's as you descend the steps of their house, and what's her face speeds by you, and you said something, but one of the words was it was
fucking wrong.
It was
oh, God.
It's okay, stop. I'm
gonna look for it now.
No, it won some award, so it's fine. It was, whatever.
Whatever, it's fine. I like being special.
Yeah, well, but you're good. You're good on camera. I mean,
Thank you. The camera does love me.
Yeah. Well, the one in the Pope on the Window one that you did was your irritation is like it's just it was good, and it was like it was what 2 takes. It was 2 takes. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Great.
It's fine. My friend Brad, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry that
an Emmy winner and whatever. He's now going to apologize for multiple things that don't need to be apologized for. So we're just going to cut it.
I do. Yeah.
I'll put his information out. His Facebook.
Yeah.
If you want to follow him.
Sure.
Or maybe even some. I don't even know if I can put some of the videos that I've been in, but
yeah, you.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
I'll post the videos that I am a star.
You're a star.
In multiple.
Like you can add that to at the end of the year when you say, "Well, how many views do all my videos and podcasts have?" You should add in those numbers. Oh yeah. Why not? Like another. I don't know if you saw like Grapevine Edit, like grabbed that video, which is fine. They're making money on it, but theirs had like 2 million views of the chunk of it.
Really?
Yeah, because it was ripped as opposed to shared. Which was
how does that?
Well, I mean, if I was a private company, I'd be like, hey, like give your boys some, but we're not. We're
All right, well, friends, this is probably the most unhinged and longest episode of my podcast.
Say less.
I hate you. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.